Hi, welcome back to another video. Jack-o'-lanterns can be a lot of fun. Sometimes they're cute, sometimes they're scary, but no matter what, after a few days, they always become a soaking, rotting mess of rotten pumpkin. Today, we're going to make a jack-o'-lantern that we don't ever have to worry about rotting because it's going to be made out of foam. And it's all going to be built around this, a styrofoam pumpkin. My daughter got this for me last year after Halloween when it was on sale, and so I've been looking forward to turning it into a jack-o'-lantern this year. I'll start by sketching the face on it with a pencil. Now with an X-Acto knife, I'm just going to cut out the basic shapes that I've sketched on here. Now, it was at this point that I realized something wasn't quite right. I had thought that this was a hollow foam pumpkin that I could carve and would be hollow inside, but it turns out this is a solid styrofoam pumpkin, so I switched to a utility knife to cut a little bit deeper. Since it's a solid styrofoam pumpkin, I have to change my original plans a little bit, but that's okay. This whole process is basically me figuring stuff out as I go. So I just peeled off the outer layer, exposing the foam. Although the whole thing won't be hollow, I do need to hollow out the mouth and the eyes, so I got to get that foam out. And you just do it any way you can. I found that using a screwdriver worked really well. Now I'm going to be adding some mass to the shape of this, so to help bulk it out, I'm just going to use some EVA foam. This is just from a floor mat. I'm just gently sanding the bumpy side. I'm not trying to get it completely smooth, just a little bit smoother so that I can glue it down onto the pumpkin. And then I'm just freehand kind of winging this here, deciding where the bulk of the shape is going to fit. Just mark it with a pencil and then follow those lines with a utility knife. And I've got a general idea of what I want here with this, but I'm not super planning it out. I'm really just cutting things to shape at the moment. I need to bulk up the eyebrows and several other places, the cheeks and the top lip. And then I'm just going to glue the pieces on with hot glue. Speaking of hot glue, this is my hot glue gun, and I am in the market for a better hot glue gun. If you know of a good hot glue gun that I should get, maybe something with a precision tip, something that has cool features, something that you like, please put a comment down below and let me know which kind of hot glue gun I should get, because I need something better than this one. I'm just using the short glue sticks here, and here's a cool tip. When it's time to switch out your glue stick or add a new one, just heat the tip of the new one up with the tip of your glue gun and then slide it in and it glues directly onto the one that's there, and then you have no problem advancing it. Once I've got the pieces glued on, I'm gonna do a quick job with the Dremel tool to kind of knock down the corners and the edges. I'm not doing anything precision right now. This is just blocking in shapes. And to make the shapes on the face, I'm going to be using foam clay. This is the first time I've ever used it, and I'm really excited to use it. I've got some affiliate links down below for the stuff that I'm using here if you're interested. But I'm going to cover all of the exposed styrofoam just so I get a smoother surface. And then using silicone tools, you can shape it just a little bit. And I'm going to take several passes at adding to the shapes here. In this first one, it is just bulking in major shapes. So it's not not a lot of detail at least. And that's what it looks like. So I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then it hardens to the same consistency as the EVA foam. While it's hardening, I'm going to prepare something for the next day. I've got these jute cords. If I get them a little bit wet, when you get things wet, it helps the foam clay stick to it. And I'm just going to cover them and kind of make these little ropes of foam. After the fact, I realized I probably didn't need the jute cord inside, but it did add a little bit of strength. Here it's dry, you can see that it's just like the foam, and I can sand it the same way I sanded the first foam. So I'm going to do a little bit of refinement in the shapes, in the brows, and now I'm going to do a second pass of foam, starting with attaching these cords that I made. I'm going to make it feel like the mouth is opened and stretching and dripping as it opens. And so I've blocked in these shapes with another layer of foam. Again, blocking it in, letting it dry. The next day, we're going to sand it a little bit like this. And now it's time to add the detail layer. So I'm going to spend more time here putting down the clay foam, adding drips, and this is the stuff that we're actually going to see in the final. And then we'll just add some final details, some dots, some veins. And I'm going to use a wire brush to add a little bit of texture to it. Just kind of randomly pound over it, and it puts little tiny holes in it. Now off camera, I sealed all the foam with a rubberized spray, which is normally what you do with EVA foam. I didn't have to cover the back because I'm just sealing this. Now, that rubberized spray does not react with EVA foam, which is why it's a great sealer, but it does react with the white styrofoam, and you can see in little places where I didn't completely cover the styrofoam, it ate away the foam and left these little voids. It's just something I'm going to have to embrace, and we'll deal with it later. Now I'm going to do my first base coat, and this is a color, it's called cinnamon, which is kind of brown, but brown is just dark orange anyway. Normally I like to start going from lightest to darkest color, but I felt like I should start with the absolute darkest black first, just in the deepest, darkest recesses, so in the eyes, in the mouth, and filling in any of that styrofoam. With that done, it's time to start with the lightest color, the yellow. And this is a medium yellow or a yellow-orange. It's basically the color of the flesh of the pumpkin, anything that would have been exposed if this were a real jack-o'-lantern. And now it's going to be a lot of washes. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know this is a thing that I like to do. So this is burnt umber mixed with a little bit of black and a lot of water. We're just going to put it on and then dab it off with a paper towel, a slightly damp paper towel, and you see it adds a cool texture to the paint. Now I'm going to paint in the crevices with dark paint and start to do some more specific areas. Still putting it on and dabbing it off. And now I'm going to use a soft brush and do dry brush over the top of some of the areas with that same yellow that I used for the inside of the flesh. Now I want to add teeth, and I know I've got something here in my box of bones and antlers. Yes, this. These are called tusk shells. It's a little sea creature, and this is their shell, and they happen to look just like little teeth. I need to mess them up a little bit, so with the same brown and black mixture watered down, I'm just going to haphazardly paint over them and let that dry, and you'll see it adds some grime to the teeth. Using super glue and tweezers, I'm just going to start gluing these teeth in along the gum line. And with that, I'm done. I did a quick clear coat of a satin clear finish to seal it. Let's take a look at the final product. It was really fun making this jack-o'-lantern, and it's great that I can use this year after year and never have to worry about it rotting. And using the foam clay for the first time was really fun. I'm sure I'm going to use that in future projects as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up to let YouTube know that other people might also like the video. Leave me a comment if you've got any suggestions, maybe what kind of glue gun I should get. And until next time, don't be bored, be creative.